Synthesis. Synthesize. Synthesizing. To take different pieces of knowledge and be able to piece them together in novel ways is amazing. It's awe-inspiring. It is able to unveil new areas of knowledge that have yet to be discovered. If we can figure out how we through history have optimized synthesizing fields and discovering new ones, there'll be a massive key to civilization success. Right now, people are so deep in specific fields. People have always been either deep in a specific field or narrow on maybe 3 fields or something. How many people have always been narrow on, have great breadth on like 100 fields or 500 fields or something like that? How many of these people are the ones that can take something from poetry and mesh it together with something from neurobiology into something that awakens a tremendous amount of people to the importance of what actually is happening inside of us and how we interact with our environments? These combinations are so novel. They're so beautiful. And as a new field emerges, like the decentralization technologies, that then gets synthesized with all of the other existing fields, and then you find even more new combinations that exist. Synthesizing is one of the most important things to do. It also is what we do every single day with when we consolidate our memories when we go to sleep. That is a synthesis that's occurring between what our inputs were of that day and the previous inputs that we have had. Another one is when you take something like the edge that is being pushed in so many different disciplines right now, and you uncover these new regions that have yet to be pursued. And that in itself is also such an amazing and novel thing for us to do. Okay, let's go back again in history one more time. Take something like when we're all together in either the tribe days or in the initial days of cities and towns. When we're there and we have less of an edge that's being pushed, right? Decentralization technologies didn't exist, or our understanding of how to map the neural circuitry didn't exist, right? So certain things just didn't exist around the edge. There were less things to try and pair together, less permutations to run. But now that the knowledge graph has expanded in so many new directions, especially since the scientific revolution, that in some regards, though, our spiritual line has potentially even receded in some regards, because we may have been more spiritually awakened to source, God, creation before, and now we're less awakened to that with so many more people. And that's this grand challenge that we face. How do we awaken more people to that? But there's so many permutations. Now there's so many ways to explain God or creation with so many other potential fields that are around the edge of knowledge. So it's giving us the potential to be able to synthesize in new ways in today's day with 8 billion of us, with so many different fields now versus the village days, tribe days, town, city days, that now we can unlock novel syntheses. When we do that, we also do things like open up the edge of knowledge for other young people to go and enter into and pursue. This becomes more and more important, because if you do something like have a child that only has 10 options or 20 options, and they only know that they can go deep instead of they also know that they can go wide with great breadth, then it restricts their ability, it restricts their worldview when they're only fed a certain worldview every single day, versus when they get a second piece to the worldview, a third piece, a fourth piece, And then they're able to see, oh wow, look at how this 8th piece connects to the 17th piece. And now I synthesize those two and it gives me a brand new awakened state. There's such importance to synthesis. It's been happening for so long in civilization, and it seems like now we're not taking these different aspects of different fields, not as much. We're going so deep in specific fields in many ways. We're going so deep in specific echo chambers that we're forgetting to look on the other aspects of the conversation of the worldviews and then take those in and see how it novelly impacts us and how that then can be used to awaken us further. Synthesizing is, again, just one of the most important things to be able to do. So take different worldviews, take different fields, and start running all of the different permutations and combinations of these different fields. See what it gives you that's novel. Share that with other people. Maybe there's a way to blend together art into fields that previously you never conceived that could have had art. Or maybe there are ways to blend in the new fields of automation into certain fields that are repetitive work that people don't want to do, that we're not aware of yet. There's so many ways for us to run these creative permutations, but they have to be more readily available and talked about and explored. And we have to make it fun to synthesize. We have to make it fun to synthesize and fun to find these novel combinations. So let's do that together. I'm glad that we've had a bit of conversation on synthesis. It's probably the thing that runs my essence the most right now, is this big ultimate synthesis of all that is into something that's relatable for everyone, that I'm super excited to be doing. And it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, and it's definitely challenging at times, but it's also extremely gorgeous. And so to synthesize even just two fields, or try all that is, just try to synthesize, it's such a beautiful thing. So talk more to your friends, families, coworkers, people online about synthesizing. Take a field, look at the field, and then bring into another field into it in conversation and just say, hey, how do you think this field relates to that field? I don't know yet. Well, maybe you can do something with that drone that's flying, and maybe you can capture something that's absolutely gorgeous and awe-inspiring, and then it can awaken more people. Maybe it can work with nature. Who would have thought that a drone could work with nature? Well, a person who saw a bird probably thought of a drone, maybe, right? And the way that it stays up in the air. So again, these are the ways that we can connect novel fields. Bring them into your conversations with people more often. Hey, hold on a second. How does this random field fit in? If people say, oh, it doesn't, then they probably haven't actually explored all of the possibilities, because there's almost certainly always ways for different fields to be combined in novel ways. Again, that's synthesizing. That's the synthesis. That's why it's so important. Get synthesizing more. Big love. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet subscribed, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Also, like the video, share it with other people. Follow us across other platforms. We need to be talking about these concepts more and why they're so important for pushing the edge of knowledge, helping children see things that they can synthesize at young ages, and going and pushing the edge themselves. Think about all of the permutations that have yet to be unlocked in civilization. Think about that as a big knowledge graph that's being pushed, and all of the question marks around the outside that are not yet there, and go and push at those question marks and discover new things. Love you very much. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Peace.